Good day to all of you. I hope and wish all of you and your loved ones are keeping well. It is my pleasure to speak at the first Jordanian International Chemical Process Safety Virtual Conference. Wonderful work so far, and I hope you find this all the topics interesting. I compliment the organizers for taking this initiative and inviting leaders from around the world to provide their perspective on improving process safety in the region. The topic I have selected today is still work in progress and will be completed this year, but I thought it would be important to share with all of you. I hope when completed, it would be very beneficial to many who are starting their journey in leading or executing process safety management for their organization. Okay, why am I not moving the slide? Just hang on. Okay, my slide is not moving somehow. Okay, good. All of you have seen my bio, so I'm not going to talk about myself. Just wanted to kind of focus on a couple of things here. I had about 36 years of experience, boots on the ground in a company, going from the engineering, from the process technology to the operation, and then ultimately leading the global process safety. And the task I'm talking about today, I could have used some help there. CCPS, I got involved with them many years ago, and I'm pleased that I have the opportunity now to leading this organization globally. So let me start with a sober reminder. We all are aiming to reduce process safety incidents for many years. And I think we have done some improvement. There is more awareness around process safety globally. Actually, this conference is an example. However, we are still not making enough progress to eliminate significant process safety incidents. We need to continue to do such collaborative efforts. I wanted to share one of that approach that my organization has been working for several years. But let me start with some of these reminders. CCPS actually started to catalog significant incidents beginning 2019 because our members really felt that it would be a good initiative to raise the sense of vulnerability. I have included only about 25 incidents here. They are not all complete, but just the idea was to recognize that. You may recognize some of them. The United States certainly had major share of the major incidents. Actually, in China, I experienced a tragic incident killing 78 people in 2019. Of course, we also saw an entire refinery demolished in an incident, and that was in Philadelphia. 2020, we cataloged almost 64 incidents occurring in 19 countries. And I'm sure people had a lot more challenges to deal with because of the pandemic. India specifically experienced significant number of incidents, and they had 32 major incidents claiming about 75 lives. And we saw the styrene release in India that was reminiscent of the Bhopal incident of 1984. And this incident also killed several people and put hundreds in the hospital with breathing difficulty. We also experienced a horrific safe process safety incident, and people saw that in many videos around the world. This is the ammonium nitrate incident in Beirut, and at least 137 people were killed, and over 5,000 or so wounded in this massive explosion. You know, I can go on and on that we really need to make some improvement. And then just yesterday, Petra refinery fire. Many of you probably already saw on YouTube that the incident happened. So my intention was to just again raise the sense of vulnerability and remind we all must have a desire and intent on process safety improvement. So let me briefly talk about the CCPS for those who are not familiar with the Center for Chemical Process Safety. It was formed on 23rd March 1985. It was industry's response to the Bhopal gas tragedy, really with the intent that we don't want to have this repeated incident in the future. It's a not-for-profit organization and is part of American Institute of Chemical Engineers. Corporately supported, it's a global scope and mission, focused preventing process safety incidents, fire, explosion, toxic releases. We really cover a diverse gamut of industry sector, and we are headquartered in New York with offices around the world. So as of end of December, we closed the year with 227 members from 42 countries. About 50% of the members are located outside of the USA. And I'm happy to inform that Jordan Engineers Association became a CCPS member in 2020. And we are very pleased with their engagement, and also extremely delighted to really take that they have taken this type of initiative to collect a mass to listen to the process safety stories. Our membership is fairly diverse, includes large, medium, and small size companies in chemicals, petroleum, pharmaceuticals, metals, mining, non-manufacturing, consulting, industry association like JEA, and government agencies. And the product and services developed and offered by CCPS are as a result of the collaborative effort of these members. There's nobody sitting in the CCPS office writing all this thing. It's all done by the members. So what is our vision? It's very simple: to protect people, property, and environment by bringing the best process safety knowledge and practices to industry, academia, the government, the public around the world through collective wisdom, tools, training, and expertise. What is our mission? It's very simple. That was the remit we started with: eliminate process safety incidents in all industry globally. And we do that by advancing global process safety technologies, culture, and management practices, serving as premier worldwide resource of process safety, fostering knowledge and understanding of process safety, promoting process safety as a key societal value and expectation, and establishing process safety as foundation for responsible operation. This slide basically captures some of the product and services. I'm not going to dwell on this thing. Hopefully you can all get most of this information from our website. But again, I wanted to focus on we really is the product and services are really developed by the members. So let me actually move to the topic at hand. What is the roadmap to process safety excellence? I strongly believe this roadmap will help leaders to understand what they need to do in process safety management, help them assess how they are doing with their process safety management and identify gaps, and then provide them with resources so that they can start the improvement process. So this is really the big picture here. CCPS has been on this roadmap journey since 1985, since its inception. The effort I'm going to talk about is really in the last several years. The three key components that are part of the roadmap here are, one, the CCPS risk-based process safety guideline that was developed and published in 2007. Second, risk-based process safety 20 elements that are part of this guideline. And the third one is the CCPS Vision 2020. These three components have been developed to answer, what do I need to do? We have developed assessment tool that will help to answer, how am I doing? And I'll plan to review how we have used the content of these components to develop these assessment protocols. And to ensure that appropriate resources are available to address gaps as part of this roadmap, resources have been linked with this assessment tool to help answer, where do I have to start to improve? Risk-based process safety. The first key component is the guideline, and that is this book. It provides guidelines for industries that manufacture, consume, or handles chemicals by focusing on new ways to design, correct, or improve process safety management practices. This framework about process safety integrates industry lessons learned, utilizes applicable total quality principles like the plan, do, check, and act, and organize it in a way that will be useful for all organizations, even those with relatively lower hazard activity throughout the life cycle of the company. The purpose of the RBPS guideline is to provide tools that will help process safety professionals build and operate more efficient process safety management system. This guideline provides guidance in three areas: how to design a process safety management system, correct a deficient system, and improve process safety management practices. And I'm glad to tell you that this guidelines have been used around the world now. The key part of this guideline, or what I would call the foundations, are the 20 elements or the 4 pillars. I'm not going to go in detail with all the elements here, but let me just briefly talk about the 4 pillars the whole the book is developed on. Leadership and commitment, a very important part of the pillar to process safety, is the key building block for pursuit of process safety excellence. Leaders who walk the talk will send a consistent message to do the right thing in the right way at the right times, even when no one is looking. Understanding hazards and evaluating risk is necessary for an organization to know where to apply its limited resources to help ensure that accidents do not occur. Managing risk involves a focus on operating and maintaining processes that pose the risk, controlling changes to those processes to avoid inadvertent risk increases, and preparing for responding to and managing incidents that do occur. And at the end, learning from incidents or experience, which we still have to do more. In spite of our best effort, things don't always work out as planned. So organization must be ready to turn its mistakes and those by others into opportunities or improvement. This slide actually is the starting of the protocols we have starting to develop. It's developed on the 20 risk-based process safety element. Each assessment protocol looks at what are the key essential features of that element that must achieve. It gives various work activity that demonstrates that you are implementing this feature and at what level. It provides an opportunity to rate yourself on this key requirement based on your implementation progress or KPIs. We have linked several resources with each protocol that will help the assessor to identify an improvement plan to improve implementation of that element. These assessment protocols are being developed using input from multiple industry process safety leaders globally. The scoring method is very simple. As you have seen, it's like always means there is an evidence that activity occurs consistently. When it says any minor gaps are corrected by the established corporate management system, most of the time means there is evidence that the activity is executed. Some of the time
بقى ما بدي من عنده ماشين انا مهندس انا بعرف قلت له لا قلت له بس انا مش هنعمل قلت له انا هرجع 3 من يوم يعني.
Can you please mute? Thank you very much.
Please complete.
And infrequent or never means the activity is missing. So these are basically the key trigger we ask, and each trigger will have the specific comments included, what you can see as the evidence and degree of evidence. And basically we took this for all 20 elements. This is the other 10 elements, and each elements have similar detail. And you can see that on the top, you will see what are the key requirements, and on the bottom, you will see what are the key resources available. So what do I mean by resources here? Here I have included a selection of resources here. First, the biggest resource we have is the publication we develop. Over 130 or so process safety guideline books have been out since the inception of CCPS. This is actually the largest resource of body of knowledge on process safety. We have a variety of web tools like chemical reactivity worksheet, golden rules, process safety incident database, specific process safety videos, and so forth. And of course, we have nearly 20 years worth of process safety beacons. Most of you are aware of that. Along with those resources, we also link a lot of our process safety training for professionals, for undergraduate education, for faculty members, and so forth is included as part of this, and also many of the training developed for individual components. So these are really kind of the sources we have. So this is for individual process safety element improvement. But the question always comes as, okay, so I'm improving based on this guideline, how well I'm doing with the industry. And this is the same questions we asked almost about 10 years ago. As a background, since 1985, CCPS has been collaborating with its stakeholders. In 2011, the CCPS started beginning to think about how can we significantly improve our process safety performance. And that's where the project called Vision 2020 came about. So what is this project? In this project, participants worked hard to envision the process safety future and ask what will be the characteristics of the companies with great process safety performance in the future. What will distinguish the companies with fewer process safety incidents from those with more process safety incidents? How can we work together in companies like those with all the stakeholders to future process safety performance? So basically what we are trying to do is really bring the best to rest. The Vision 2020 developed by CCPS looks into the not too distant future to demonstrate that perfect process safety will look like when it is championed by industry, driven by 5 tenets, which are the best practices we found, and enhanced by community passion and global societal themes that we developed. And I'll discuss them in the next couple of slides. In this project, we were trying to answer a couple of key questions. Many best-in-class companies have achieved great process safety performance. What are the key principal characteristics or tenets that allowed them to achieve such best industry class performance? And what additional impact in this improvement can be achieved if industry and public work more closely together? What are the key teams they would work closely with? So these are your 5 industry tenets. And let me just briefly outline what we mean by that. In a committed culture, executive involves themselves personally. And again, these are all based on the characteristic of the best-in-class company we interviewed. Executive involves themselves personally. Managers and supervisors drive excellent execution every day, and all employees maintain a sense of vulnerability and vigilance. Vibrant management systems are ingrained throughout the organization. Vibrant systems readily adapt to the organization's varying operations and risk. Its structure clearly defines expectation for all systems that impact process safety performance. Disciplined adherence to standards means company and/or industry standards rigorously followed. Systems to ensure that existing equipment meets company minimum expectation, and risk decision-making is used when applicable standards do not exist. Intentional competency ensures that all employees who impact process safety are fully capable of meeting the technical and behavioral requirement of their job. And finally, enhanced application and sharing lesson learned communicates critical knowledge in a focused manner that satisfies the thirst of learning. Again, we developed a similar assessment tool for the 5 industry tenants. It integrates to help in the company assess its current implementation against Vision 2020 elements. So what we are trying to do here is, once you do your internal look, start looking at external view and compare that. So really, that's where I would definitely achieve better performance. The next is for societal teams. First one is this enhanced stakeholder knowledge allows the public to effectively challenge industry to prevent process safety incidents. And same holds true for industry challenging the public to understand process safety risk. Responsible collaboration, a very important part of this whole effort, means technical, government, labor, community, scientific, academic, and industry organizations are working together. And we have to really, when I talk about responsible, it has to be a two-way door here. Since standards can come from many sources, standards can be confusing and conflicting. Harmonized standards provide consistent guidance for design, operation, and maintenance to support effective understanding of process safety risks. And finally, company uses various assessment techniques to assume their process safety management systems are working as intended. Third party, including public and non-government organization, evaluate implementation of process safety program. And we created the assessment tool of this four societal teams here. So let me bring all this together. And to kind of bring this to my personal experience, let me take you back about 20 years when I started my role as the Global Process Safety Director at my previous company. As I was entering this new organization, I thought that, and people also thought that I had actually good technical background to take care of this job. However, I knew very well I lacked the global organizational and external industry perspective. Some of the thoughts that came to me at that time when I started this job were, what is the state of process safety management of my company globally? Where will I get help from these improvements if I have any gaps in my company? How my process safety management compare with those best in class? I wished I had the tool that we are working on. I intend that hopefully this tool will answer some of those questions. And I would be happy to answer any question you may have at this point. I think our time is pretty close to end. So let me end this at this point.